You're in the meeting and you've got data. You know the situation well, but your heart is racing so fast that you can't even breathe. And you're terrified that if you speak, your voice is just going to crack. You feel like an imposter because you're only 24 years old and the person sitting right across you has been in the game for the last 24 years. So you do one of two things. You either stay silent and become invisible, or you ramble on and on to prove that you belong there. And both of these choices are career killers. Today, we're stopping the polite conversation. It's not because you are young, and it's not because you aren't smart. It's because you haven't learned the rules of the room. And today, I'm giving you 3 simple shifts to stop being ignored and start being the person that people actually wait for. So I've spent the last month doing something that I would have absolutely terrified the 25-year-old version of me. So I've decided to stop being the person who talks the most. Look, I'm in my 40s. I've sat both sides of the glass, but for the first half of my career, I was convinced that if I wasn't the first one to answer, I was invincible. And I thought that if I didn't give a 5-minute explanation for every idea, people would think that I'm a junior. I was basically running a marathon with just my mouth and just to keep my seat at the table. But recently, I shifted. I started to cut my word count into half. I started letting silence sit in the room until it got uncomfortable. And honestly, everything changed. If you're in your 20s or 30s and you feel like you're shouting into a void in your meetings, I want to show you why speaking less is actually the ultimate power move. The mood mirror. So let's talk about the squirrel. We've all seen this person, and maybe you are this person. It's the meeting where you're so nervous and you're tapping on your pen, you are nodding way too fast, and your voice is 3 octaves higher than usual. And here is the elaborate example that I want you to visualize. Imagine you're on a flight and it hits a major turbulence, and the pilot comes on the radio, and if it sounds like he just ran a 5,000 marathon and he's breathing heavy, hey guys, we're hitting some bumps and I think we're okay, just hang on. Well, you're gonna lose your mind. But if it sounds like he's bored, folks, we've got some chop ahead. Stay seated. You relax. In your 20s, you're often that frantic pilot. You're trying so hard to prove that you're smart, that you're creating static. The fix is to use the anchor rule. Plant your feet, keep your hands still, and when it's your turn to talk, wait for 2 seconds. That pause tells the senior leadership that you aren't reacting to the room. The room is reacting to you. And you're the pilot who isn't afraid of the turbulence. In the corporate world, we're taught to use fancy words to sound professional. We say things like, we need to leverage our core competencies to streamline our workflow. And honestly, it sounds like you're trying too hard. True experts don't use big words to hide. They use simple words to be understood. And when you speak in a way that's easy to visualize, people remember you. Stop using jargons. Instead of saying streamline, say cut the clutter. Instead of saying leverage, say use what we have. And if they can see a picture of what you're saying in their head, they will agree with you faster. Killing the permission words. This is one that still gets me. I'll be in a meeting with a brilliant 30-year-old manager and they'll start with a sentence with, correct me if I'm wrong, but I kind of feel like maybe we should look at the budget. You just killed your own idea before you even finished the sentence. You just asked me for the permission to be right. And in my 40s, I realized that I don't need you to feel something. I need you to observe something. So what you do is to replace I feel like with I've noticed. Instead of I feel like the client is unhappy, say this: I've noticed the client hasn't replied to our last 3 emails. We need to jump on a call. Even if it's just your observation, framing it as something you saw rather than something you felt makes it harder for people to shut you down. The stop, talk, ask method. So if you want to win your next meeting, follow the 3-step loop. Stop. When someone finishes speaking, count to 3 in your head before it starts. Silence is power. It shows that you aren't desperate to talk. Number 2, talk. State your point in 1 or 2 short sentences. No rambling. Ask. End with, does that get us to the goal? And this will pull people back into the conversation and make people acknowledge what you just said. I spent half of my life thinking I have to learn my way into the conversation by talking. I was wrong. You earn your way in by being the person who brings the most clarity with the fewest words. You're already smart enough to be in that room. So now just be calm enough to own it. I'm curious, what's a corporate word that you absolutely hate? Drop it in the comments and let's find a human way to say it instead. I'm Jules T, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.